Good morning and welcome to the Franchise Minute. I'm Anna Wiles, the franchise economist. Today's topic is very interesting. We're going to compare an independent business with a franchise. I get that question a lot, and I know our guest gets it a lot. Today, we have the pleasure of having Eric Steele, Vice President of Franchise Development with Shine. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anna. I appreciate it. Looking forward to this and really excited to be here.
Well, Eric, start us off by telling us a little bit about your background, and everyone will hear why you're such a great guest for this topic today.
Certainly, certainly. Well, I've been with Shine now for 2 years and really enjoy working for Shine, but kind of an unusual story. This is actually my first job. Right out of college, I got involved with business. I moved from Pennsylvania to Florida and found a niche that needed to be filled, and I decided to open a business and bootstrap that and self startup, and it was quite the task, a lot of work, a lot of hours. And then about 3 years into that business, I discovered franchising and thought, wow, what a game changer, and ended up opening 5 different franchise brands over the years and really enjoyed it. And it was a good time. And, I really understand franchising now and have a passion for it. And I hope everybody experiences franchising at some time in their life.
Eric, that's amazing. So you started off as a solopreneur,
Yep.
startup right out of college, and then you discovered franchising and you went on to own not one, not two, not 5 different franchises.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Sounds crazy now.
And now, after being a business owner for decades, now you've got your first paid job.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
right.
Okay, Eric, let's start off by asking the audience to please drop any questions they have into the comments section or the chat box. Depending on what platform you're watching us, we're happy to answer your questions about the pros and cons of franchise versus independent business. Okay, so Eric, I think the single biggest concern or negative that people have about a franchise is you have to pay a franchise fee and ongoing royalties. What do you say about that?
Yeah, so that's true. You do have to do that. But I can tell you, at least from my personal experience, typical franchise fees, average franchise fees can range, but I definitely spent more than that in mistakes when I started my business. So right there is a savings, right? Because I was, when you're on your own and starting a business, you don't have marketing, you don't have training, you don't have support, coaching, anything. You're making all the decisions yourself, and you're going to make mistakes. It's just going to happen, right? And
Yeah, it's just
you lose money this way, lose money that way, and then hopefully you find the right thing. But I can tell you from what the average franchise fees are currently, I definitely spent more than that just in the mistakes.
well, I know I have 2 children in college, and I have to pay tuition every semester for each of them. And I tell my franchise candidates, it's like paying tuition and you only pay it once, and it's good for the whole life
Right.
of your business.
Hmm.
10 years is a standard franchise agreement term. So it's, in my opinion, it's a bargain to go with a franchise. It's so worth it. All right. So speak to the royalties though. So, okay, there's a one-time fee, franchise fee, but then they give you the recipe for the secret sauce, right?
Right.
And, but what about the royalties?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's funny you say that because you know going through these businesses and owning these franchises, I've always had friends or family members saying, "Oh gosh, don't you hate paying royalties every month, like that ongoing fee?" And I think, no, it's like a management consultant firm that's really helping me. I mean, they're providing marketing. First of all, they train me, right? How to do the business, how to run
Mhm,
the business. And
mhm.
then they're coaching me. They're giving me marketing. They're giving me support in every way, shape, or form. I've got other franchisees to reach out to. The technology alone, learning about the different technologies that you can use without having to experiment and buying 5 or 6 of them until you find the right one. It's just I never found the royalties as a negative. I've always found it as a positive because again, I've got a team working for me in a sense,
Right.
right, that are really helping me be successful, be profitable, and grow my brand. And that's really all I want. I think that's what everybody really wants is to grow, right?
Absolutely. That's why people become business owners. Okay, there's another perceived negative about going the franchise route versus being an independent business owner. And Eric, that is the perceived lack of control, like you have to
Mhm.
do it their way. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, there's a little bit of lack of control, but again, you're buying a brand, a system, right? A system that's already
Right.
developed. So that
Mhm.
control is kind of a good thing. I always looked at it as a positive because now, every brand is going or every location in that franchise system is going to be running the same way, exactly the same, which builds out brand recognition.
Mhm.
You go to a McDonald's in New York and you buy a Big Mac, and you go to one in California, buy a Big Mac, they're going to taste the same. And there's a reason for that. It's that control part that really makes that brand pop and grow, and you know exactly what to expect. So I always looked at it as a positive. And, with the franchise system, they basically, stub their toes, scrape their knees to figure it all out. And they just hand it to you and say, here it is, run this business. Here's the recipe. And it's all done for you. So I like the control aspect. It really keeps things systemized. It keeps you on track. Again, you've got those people that are supporting you so that, they're making sure that the system is being followed so that you are successful. So again, having done both sides of it, I really kind of like that control aspect of it for sure.
One thing that I hear a lot of franchisors talk about, it's brand standards. It's maintaining
Mhm.
the brand standards of the franchise, and that benefits everyone who's a part of that system. And as I had shared with you before we went live, is I've been to certain fast food restaurants where the bathroom was trashed, out of supplies, and it happened enough that there's certain places I won't go to. That hurt. I'm a potential customer, and I know I'm not going to go back to
Yeah,
those certain brands. So maintaining brand standards, that's what you're buying. And to me, why wouldn't you want to maintain them?
yeah, absolutely.
It's the
100%.
recipe for success. So why change it, right?
I 100% agree. That's so true. Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to control, this is the biggie. Eric, every single person I have ever worked with in over 20 years of me being a franchise advisor has wanted this control over their time and
Yes.
control. And then, secondly, that's the biggest control over their time. So, as a business owner, I mean, speak to that.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Again, going back to my self startup, I easily was working 80 hours a week, just trying to figure it all out. And there's always new things that arise. You have no idea. You have no one to reach out. No one can help you. So you're spending a lot of hours just running on that hamster wheel, right? But
Right, right.
again, with that control aspect, it does free up your time because again, you've got a system. They help you with how to run the business, how to control the business, how to do the marketing. So I went from 80 hours a week probably to 30 or 40 hours a week with the franchise. And, I now had time to spend with my family and do things I enjoyed. So that part of it is really, really beneficial. And again, that's a great reason to look into a franchise system just for that reason alone, really.
Right. The people that contact me about exploring franchises and making the pivot from employee to employer as a business owner, they long for control over
Mhm.
their time and they crave work life balance. They really
Yes.
do. And, when you work for someone else, you aren't in control of your work, your hours, and that's typically, you
Mhm.
know, so that's huge. And then there's another area where franchisees have a good bit of control. That's over who you hire, who's on
Mhm.
your team. And then Eric, of course, an important role of any business owner is to lead the team, establish the culture and that sort of thing. So that's up to a franchisee or any business owner, right?
Right. Yeah. You've got total control over that. So it's still your business, right? It's a franchise system. You're buying a brand, you're buying, the whole system, but you still run your business. It's still you own that business. So
Right.
you have to hire well, you've got to find the right employees. And I'm glad you mentioned culture because I think that's the biggest piece of it is creating that company culture because that's when employees stick around, they love the culture, they align with the culture, and you create that yourself. And that's kind of the fun part, right? That's kind of the little intricacies that you can create and add to the system. And so that's a good point. Yeah, for sure. And going back to what you mentioned earlier, I do talk to a lot of people that are coming out of the corporate world. And the first thing they say to me every time is, I want control. I want control
Yes.
of my time and I want to build something on my own. And that's that. You hit it right on the head with that. That's the key thing that I hear all the time.
All the time, absolutely. I would say that is the driver for their motivation,
Yes.
absolutely. And then the second thing they want control over after their time is the money they make. There's no
Yes. Right.
limit. They're not limited by a salary or
Mhm.
somebody else's goals that they have to meet. They establish their own goals and can go for it, and it creates wealth for them and their families as opposed to the company they're working for. So I hear that over and over again, as I'm
Yeah.
sure you probably do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're going to work hard, right? Any business you have, you're
Right.
going to work hard, of course. But every dollar you make goes to you, not to the company president or the CEO or the company itself.
Your
So
bonus.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So it's again having that control over your destiny. And I love what you said about you've got total control over that. There's no limit, right? Is if you put the time and you work hard and you develop a good team and run the brand efficiently, you can just grow and grow and grow. Buy new territories, add this and that, and it can be a big empire for you at some point. So you can just keep going and going and going. I love that.
If you want,
If you
and
want,
that option is totally up to,
yeah.
the franchisee. Alright, so let's bring up territory, because another perceived negative about a franchise is that you're limited to just a certain geographic area. What
Mhm.
what do you say to that, Eric?
Um, that's a positive again. I know some people might think of that as a negative, but it's a positive in
Mhm.
the sense that they're going to help you figure out if it is a good territory for that brand, for what you want to do, right? Again, a self startup, you're just guessing. I mean, you can probably pay people to do demographics and pay thousands of dollars to do that, but with a franchise system, they're going to help you do that and make sure they're going to put you in a position for success. I'll give you an example today. As a matter of fact, this
Yeah.
morning, I work with some consultants like yourself, and one reached out to me and asked about a certain area in the country for their client. Went on our mapping software, did the little, checked it out, and realized real quickly it was a very rural area, not a lot of income in that area. And I honestly told him, I said, this isn't going to work, for home services. Maybe for another system or something, but for a home services
Right.
brand like Shine, it's probably not the best area. So I might have saved that person thousands of dollars from jumping into a franchise, right? So again, we help you
Absolutely.
with that, and that's another benefit. So there's so many benefits with franchising.
Right, and that was at no cost.
Right, exactly, right. No cost.
Right,
Yes.
right. Alright, then kind of our last thing is, again, something that comes up is the perceived negative associated with the length of time that a franchise agreement is. Kind of the standard is
Mhm.
10 years. What do you say to that, Eric?
Yeah, that's a good point. So when we send a client their franchise disclosure document, and I think every franchise is similar, it's always 10 years. So I get a lot of candidates saying, "Oh, I don't know if I want to be in business for 10 years." And that's not the case. You can sell your business at any point in time. I've sold some at 5 years, 8 years, different things for lengths of
Mhm,
time. So again, it's your business. When you decide you want to maybe retire or cash in or whatever your
mhm,
motivation is, you can
mhm.
do it. So again, and one thing too I want to mention with that as well is a franchise is worth a lot more than a self startup, because with a self startup,
Absolutely.
you're having to replace that owner. With a franchise, you're just jumping into a brand that's already established, and you're just taking over that brand. So again, it's worth a lot more money at the end with a franchise. So again, another positive.
So many positives, and there's training and support for the new owner of a
Yeah,
resale, and, I mean, it's just as Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, said, with a franchise, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
exactly.
All right. Well, wow, that was a really fast interview, Eric.
Oh
We
gosh,
are
yeah.
out of time.
Okay.
It's a topic near and dear to both of our
I
hearts.
love it. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So, Eric, I didn't give you an opportunity. Tell the audience what Shine does.
So Shine, we do a lot of home exterior services. So we do window cleaning, gutter cleaning, pressure washing. We do soft washing for roofs, but we also do holiday lighting. So we do holiday light installs. We do landscape lighting installs. So we're a full service lighting company and an exterior cleaning company, and we are now actually adding permanent lighting to our resume of
Wow.
services, which will be the first franchise system that actually adds that in. So we're really excited about that. That should be launched probably mid-year this year. So excited.
Well, I describe Shine as a home detailing
I love it. Yeah, exactly.
business,
That's what
right?
it is. Yes, yes.
All right, fantastic. Well, Eric, thank you for being here, audience. This is Eric Steele, Vice President of Shine. Thank you so much for sharing your insights of being an independent business owner and as a franchisee with our audience, Eric.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed having you here.
Yes, and just definitely, I just want to give you a plug. If people are looking for a Shine or any franchise, just reach out to Anna. I've worked with her before. She's an amazing consultant. She can really, she's a pro at this. She'll find the right franchise system for you, and simply reach out to her. And if Shine's the right one, she'll send you in our direction. And I'd love to talk to you if that's the case.
Okay, well, thank you for that, Eric. And audience, thank you for joining us. And be sure to come back next week where we're going to talk about a service that both homeowners and businesses need. You're not going to miss it. It's pretty eye-opening. I'm Anna Wilds, the franchise economist. Come back next Wednesday at 11:30. See you then.
Thanks, Anna.